Good Monday, everybody. Welcome back to Hot News. We're going to start off with the existential question of the day, which is it's a noodler for you, okay? Are laps even real, okay? Are they made up? I think laps are a figment of our imaginations, because right now, I have a lap, and I have a laptop on it, right? But guess what? Stand up. Where's my lap? I don't have a lap anymore. I have thighs, right? I have a lower quarter, but now I have a lap. Are laps imaginary? Are they really existent? Catlin says they retract. I'm not quite so sure. I think they don't exist, and it's just a conspiracy by Big Laptop to get us to think that laps are real so that we'll buy more of their stuff. I don't know, you answer down below. Are laps real? But you know what's real is leaked pricing on Intel's Comet Lake CPUs, which seem to be coming sometime soon. And you would think, after a little while, Intel would learn that they have to adjust their market position in order to effectively compete against AMD. But it is decidedly not that way, because the pricing that's come out about the Comet Lake chips is we are getting more cores for less price than we otherwise would have had AMD not existed, but it's still not competitive with AMD Ryzen on the market right now. The price of the Core i9-10900, not the K version, not overclockable, is 680 Canadians or $486, which is about $500 or the MSRP of the Ryzen 9 3900X. But I'll get into the Ryzen pricing in just a second. The i7-10700K, the overclockable one, is $420, and the non-overclockable version is 506 Canadian or $362 US, which again, if we just go ahead, we switch on over to Amazon right now, you look at the pricing on the 3900X, $434 for 12 cores, 24 threads, overclockable, which is the same price as the overclockable 8 core coming from Intel. The 10700K is $419, 3900X is $434, regularly on sale for $419. So 12 cores versus 8 cores. We can't even talk about the 10 core $500 chip because AMD doesn't have anything in that product lineup right now, except for the MSRP of the 3900X, but it doesn't regularly sell for that. AMD actually discounts their CPUs. Tell me the last time you saw an Intel CPU on sale. Are we gonna get things matching? I don't think so. The pricing doesn't look very good. And then if we just go on down the lineup, the Ryzen 7 3700X, which is 8 cores, 16 threads, going to be the direct competitor to the i7-10700K. That is currently going for $294 versus Intel's upcoming $420. That's $120 difference in price for the same amount of cores, maybe a little bit better performance on the Intel, maybe 3%, maybe 5%, but you're talking about a huge price differential between these chips. Intel clearly learning nothing. And again, these are just leaked pricing from a reputable Canadian retailer, so we'll just have to wait and see if this actually pans out. But given what I've heard from other things behind the scenes, this is likely going to hold true. $500 for the 10 core, and then you mosey it on down to find the rest of the lineup. But $500 for the 10 core is too expensive for Intel to regain any sort of competitive advantage that they lost to AMD over the past couple of years, and it looks like they're stuck in the Stone Ages with their market structure. But that's just me. I'm a regular pleb. I'm not leading multi-billion-dollar corporations, so, my opinion as a consumer is moot. Let's go ahead and talk about everybody else's opinions as consumers, which is they're not buying as many PCs. But that's not their fault because PC demand is up. However, because of Voldemort and supply chain issues, the total shipments that went out in Q1 of 2020 fell 8%, which isn't horrible, but considering the fact that everybody and their dog is trying to buy a laptop for remote work, distance learning, or potentially anything else that they might use a laptop for, like keeping in touch with Gram. The demand for laptops has shot up. However, that hasn't been able to rectify the downswing that we saw because of China shuttering some of its plants with supply chain issues coming out from there, making it so that we couldn't get as many. So Q1 is an 8% decline, which is the worst decline since Q1 of 2016, in which we saw a 12% decrease. And I need to remind you that Q4 of 2019, we were up 5%. So we were on a positive upward trend. So seeing it come down by 8% is a significant blow to the PC market. However, maybe it will recover eventually, or nobody's going to buy after all of this because they already bought a laptop and they're not going to have a job to buy anything. So I'd expect it to continue to go down. Who knows? We'll find out. But then there's also a new forecast coming out from Gartner talking about the worldwide semiconductor revenue, saying that it's supposed to decline by 0.9% in 2020 due to Voldemort, which doesn't sound terrible, but that's a minus 12% growth rate. It was supposed to be in 2019. It seems like the semiconductor revenue was $419 billion, and it's looked to be $415 billion this upcoming year. So Voldemort impacting the bottom lines of a lot of tech companies around the world, but that hasn't stopped China's top chip maker, Yangtze Memory Technologies. I'm sorry if I screwed up that name. They have said that they can go toe to toe with Samsung when it comes to NAND production. They have no issues. They're going to be better than Samsung and match them in whatever they're producing, making sure that Korea is not going to get ahead of where China is, and we're going to get more better chips. But there's a monitor from Japan, while we're in the Southeast Asian region, that I really, really want, but it's not sold anywhere near me, and that is the Red Eagle G-Master, whatever all of this is. It's an ultra-wide 3440 by 1440. It's IPS, 144 Hertz Reece, and 1 millisecond response time. That is a delicious combination that I absolutely want. It was just announced by them. However, it's a Japanese company. They only distribute in certain European countries. They don't distribute in the US. However, Iiyama, if you're watching this video, send me a sample, please. I will gladly pay import fees. Anticipated pricing on it is $524 when we look at the Dutch retailer who's selling this, and that is a small price to pay for salvation, which is what LG is hoping their next premium phone is going to be for you, because they're calling it Velvet, because they want you to experience the velvety goodness of their phone. They're going to stop calling it things like the V20, the G whatever. It's now going to have names instead of letters and numbers, so you can just experience the velvety goodness that is the wraparound screen. It's supposed to be a very sensual experience, is what LG apparently is getting at with their phone, which is the antithesis to the design language that iPhone apparently is going to be implementing with the iPhone 12, because Bloomberg is coming out with a report saying that it's going to take after the new iPad Pro shape, which went back to the more rectangular boxy setup as opposed to the smooth curves that you got on the current iPhone 11. But the iPhone 12 is supposed to feature a smaller notch, share design cues with the iPad Pro, and we're supposed to get a half-size cheaper HomePod later this year. So Bloomberg coming out with some fancy deets. But in case LG's new phone and Apple's new phone don't excite you and you want something that's currently on the market, well, Best Buy has a great sale for you right now on the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL. The Pixel 4 is just starting at $450 over on Best Buy right now. Google has dropped the price of the Pixel 4 and its XL version on their own website, but that's for $500. So Best Buy is even $50 cheaper if you buy it through them. So you can check out the links in the video description if you want to pick one of those up. Pixel 4, Pixel 4 XL, seemingly on a very good sale, and we're anticipating the 4A to be launched sometime later this month, potentially. But there's been a lot of launches happening with live streams because nobody's allowed to gather in person. I don't know of any that have launched on Instagram Live, but if they do, we'll now be prepared, because Instagram Live can now go on your desktop, so you can see all of your celebrity friends who are filming in portrait mode on their phones. You can watch that on your landscape desktop. It's the best thing that you could ever want, and it's the opposite of the way Quibi's going, which is you can't watch anything on a big screen. You gotta watch it on the small screen. Instagram realizing, hey, sometimes people want to watch things on a big screen. You can't start an Instagram live stream from your desktop, but you can now watch it, which is good for your eyeballs. What's not good for my eyeballs is this next article, because apparently people be attacking 5G cell towers, which I don't get. Okay? How is it that over 150 countries in the world have a Voldemort encounter, but yet there's like a very limited number of countries that have 5G, but somehow 5G is responsible for Voldemort? This is a worse response to Voldemort than the Ministry of Magic. How are we this dumb? Anyways, 5G towers are now being attacked in the Netherlands. Great job, everybody. If 5G was causing this, why do they have it everywhere else in the world? It doesn't make any sense. Unless your argument is that 5G started it and now it's spreading around the world, in which case, stop. It's spreading where there's no 5G towers. We can see it's clearly not, that's not the issue. We need to get all of these people who are attacking 5G towers and get them to sit and contemplate about whether or not laps exist, okay? Keep them busy. That's all they need. They need to put their active minds to something less destructive and just as stupid. But in case you want to have Ed Sheeran as your background in Microsoft Teams, you can now do it, because they're allowing you to create custom backgrounds, which is a prominent feature that a lot of people have appreciated about Zoom. Well, now it's been rolled out to Microsoft Teams, so you can replace it with a really bad green screen. It doesn't work very well. Don't try it. I guess if your room is horrible, but just clean up, okay? I've seen the green screen technology used on Zoom. It's not very good. You bleep in and out of existence.
Only acceptable if you have anime cat girls as your background.
Stop it. get some help. But in case there's anime cat girls in the background of your Discord chats, they're now working on a feature that eliminates that, reducing background noise using a technology from a company called Crisp, which will process your audio locally, not in the server, so they're not distributing your data, but they'll make sure that your background noise is eliminated and any anime cat girls you may have hiding in your room won't necessarily pop up in the audio calls that you're on, Reece. While the world has been topsy-turvy because of Voldemort and everything's going haywire, cats and dogs living together, it's been wild. We've got a group of misfits who have decided to band together and fight with everything they have, and that is known as the PC gamer. And it turns out that folding at home has now broken another record, coming in at 2.4 petaflops of total computing power. For the record, that is faster than every conceivable supercomputer that is available right now, and is faster than the upcoming 2 petaflop supercomputer that AMD and the Department of Defense are working on. So gamers, more powerful than the US military at fighting Voldemort. Let's go. And modders are very powerful at finding ways to not play the game as it was originally intended, which in the case of Half-Life Alyx might mean that more people will be able to play it. And there is a new mod that has come out that allow you to play Half-Life Alyx from beginning to end without VR, which is obviously a really good thing. However, watching the video, it becomes very clear that while you can do it, you're missing a lot. It's not the best gameplay experience. It was clearly coded for VR. So while you might experience Half-Life Alyx, just watch somebody else play it to get the story or read the Wikipedia, because the way to play it is in VR.
But the good news is we've got something they don't.
But the way to play Resident Evil 4 might be with the new remake that Capcom is allegedly working on and it's supposed to drop in 2022. This is the major Capcom remake from N2 that they're supposed to be working on. It's a heavy rumor right now. I've seen a lot of good sources on this. So Resident Evil 4 Remake makes a lot of sense. A lot of people think this is the most beloved one of the franchise. Some people don't like it. What is your take on Resident Evil 4 being remade? What is your take on this graphics card? Because I think it's beautiful. Asus has now updated its GT710 to have 4 HDMI outputs. Does this need to be in hot news? No. But do I love it? Darn right I do. You know what I love? Being lazy. Especially with everything going on in the world. I just want to make sure that I have to do as little as possible with my life. You think that I would learn a new skill while in quarantine? Heck no. You think I would get around to playing more video games? Of course not. You think I'm gonna laze around and eat as many Doritos because I prepped them before the entire thing went down and I had an entire closet full? You're darn tootin'. And why would I want to put my dirty Dorito fingers on my blinds on my window? Do you think I really want that? Why do I even have my blinds open in the first place? I'm a dirty gamer. I don't know. But Ikea's smart blinds are now available for you to lazily drop and raise your blinds through a remote control. They're now available, so you can buy them. But you can't buy this next thing, which is the helicopter. A Martian helicopter. Ooh, because NASA has completed their Martian helicopter that's ready for flight on the Red Planet. It's gonna be going up hopefully later this year with Perseverance rover and is supposed to fly across the Martian surface. However, they've tested this in JPL's space simulator. So they have a gravity vacuum simulator to make it so it's like the Martian atmosphere. Get this, guess how high it can fly in the Martian atmosphere, Reece?
3 feet.
2 inches. So it can kind of hover over the ground. Obviously, atmosphere is necessary for the fundamentals of flight. Mars has a much thinner atmosphere than Earth, so they're not going to be able to take off as easily with just like a rotor, but it's gonna didgeridoo all over the place. Thank you, Martian helicopter. You are my greatest hope. My greatest hope for Big Laptop is to get us all to realize laps, figment of your imagination. I still just have thighs. These are just horizontal thighs. Let's stop calling it a lap because no lap. Where's my lap?
Lap's gone.
It's imaginary, isn't it? That's your existential question of the day. And that's the end of this episode of Hot News. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you for staying with us during everything that's currently going on in the world. It really means a lot to me that you would get your tech news from us. With that being said, I'm gonna get rid of my lap. Bye. Reece, am I too old to understand this? Or am I too young? Where am I in this?